Hi, I'm Vanessa Lake, trauma therapist for the living and the spirit world. Today I'm talking about the who, what, when, where, and why of stuck spirits and how helping them cross over actually helps your life now. Keep in mind, this is just a basic 101 video. I could talk for hours about my experiences and what I continue to learn the more that I do this work. So if you have questions, leave a comment and I can answer them or do a follow-up Q&A video. So let's dive in. The who. First, let's start with definitions. I'm going to keep this super simple. Spirit. It's your personality in one single lifetime. It's your character, your memories, your human feelings, and of course, your ego. When someone dies, that personality layer, their spirit, can linger. The soul. Picture a disco ball. The soul is the whole disco ball, all the lifetimes together. The spirit is one light on that ball in one lifetime. But they're all lit up at the same time, all existing at the same time. So that's why past lives can actually be referred to as parallel lives, all existing, no time or space. Ghost. A ghost is like an echo, a fragmented personality repeating old loops or trauma. It's the replay that gets stuck in a place or a scenario. So, a stuck spirit is when the personality ego layer, the one light on the disco ball, can't or won't move on. Current culture and movies often say ghosts are stuck spirits as if they're the same, but I don't refer to them as that. Definitions matter, and when you say ghost and think of hauntings and evil, then you miss the importance of helping a stuck spirit heal their pain and cross over. A common sign that a spirit is stuck can be seen during mediumship readings that are ego-based. If the spirit in the reading sounds judgy, repeats themselves over and over like they're stuck on a loop, or making it all about their life, then they're stuck. Also, if you're sensitive to getting messages, dreams, or signs from a loved one, but you haven't gotten anything from a certain person who's passed, it could be that they are stuck, so they can't send clear messages. Why do they get stuck? Spirits get stuck for basically the same reasons we get stuck in life. Guilt, shame, fear. The low vibe, negative emotions. They hold on to things like, I'm not worthy, I did something terrible, I'll be punished. And that keeps them glued to their pain. Unprocessed trauma. Death during violent or traumatic events often leaves the spirit too close to the 3D emotions to let go. Unfulfilled contracts, more commonly known as unfinished business. The spirit has free will, so if the soul made a contract, a plan, to do a certain thing in this life, learn a certain lesson, and didn't end up doing it, the spirit may get stuck knowing it wasn't done in this life. Also, I found that every spirit who has ended their life prematurely are stuck. This doesn't include people dying of terminal cancer diseases that cause suffering, and so they choose to medically end their life. I'm saying prematurely because all signs point to they were likely to live much longer had they chose not to end it. That's an unfulfilled contract. Attachment. They might not want to leave a loved one, a life that they loved, or even an idea of themselves. I'm the provider. I can't go. Who's going to provide? The ego clings to its identity and doesn't want to just let that go. Now, a common question is, why don't angels or loved ones just help them cross? Well, here's the thing. Angels don't see time like we do. To them, 1,000 years is a blink of an eye. So yes, eventually everything returns to source. But eventually might mean thousands of years in human time. As for loved ones, here's what I've learned personally. My grandma crossed fully when she died, but her brother was stuck. I asked her why she couldn't help him, and she said, he doesn't believe me. You see, he felt unworthy of God, terrified of judgment. Seeing his sister whole, healed, it didn't comfort him. It made him feel misunderstood. She was too light, too far from his fear, shame, and guilt, those 3D personality, spirit-based human emotions. It's why I can help. As a therapist, I know how to sit with their pain without dismissing it. Stuck spirits need compassion, not spiritual bypassing. They need someone who understands fear, guilt, shame. and then can gently walk them out of it. So unfortunately, my grandma, his sister, we're all love and light. We're all loved. And he said, you don't understand. You didn't do what I did. You didn't see what I did. You don't feel what I feel. And she's like, we are all love and light. Just come on over to the other side. It's wonderful here. And he's like, I can't possibly. So you see where the disconnect is. She couldn't relate to him on the same level because she didn't feel those 3D human emotions. She understood them, but not at that same level as someone who's closer to the human existence. So why does crossing stuck spirits matter? It frees the soul. The spirit completes and joins the disco ball again, so it can reincarnate and learn other things. As long as it's stuck, it's not able to bring those lessons, good or bad. It's not about judgment. It's everything that's learned in this lifetime, in this one spirit personality human experience, back to the whole, where it can then process, integrate, and then choose what its next lessons are. If that is incomplete, then it's going to make a less informed choice, right? Because it doesn't have all the pieces together. It also frees the living. Hauntings, heavy energy, family patterns that keep repeating, those can shift when stuck spirits are helped. I've included a link to the video of stuck spirits I crossed of an entire town who stayed silent while really bad things were happening. Their descendants struggled with not speaking up, being complacent. After the crossing, the energy shifted. Their descendants started finding their voice more easily, like in small things, speaking up in relationships or at work. It's subtle, it's not conscious, but the field changes. It also turns trauma into positive action. Sometimes a crossing releases energy that later becomes courage, activism, or protection in future lifetimes. Again, future lifetimes because they have to reincarnate. If they're stuck, they're not coming back with those lessons to then be able to turn them into positive action. And yes, I say future because we're in a 3D linear world, so that's what we're going with here. So for example, I crossed railroad workers from the 1800s who were stuck because of the trauma of how they were treated. Can only imagine how they were treated, which led to their deaths. And they were often buried in unmarked graves and forgotten, literally ran over by train tracks. That energy of oppression, basically slave labor, mistreated workers, was what I released when I crossed them. And now these spirits can reincarnate as people who fight against this misuse of power and mistreatment of workers, because on a soul level, they know what it's like to feel taken advantage of. Their spirits are the ones coming back to create change in the work environment, in labor laws. It's shifting trauma into energy to create positive change in the world, which we need more of. Sharing more light pushes out the darkness. That's why we need to release them and allow them to come back with those lessons they've learned and create change in the world. The where. Where do stuck spirits hang out? Well, it's not cemeteries staring at their headstones. And they're not always in basements or creepy houses, but sometimes. I find stuck spirits most often on traumatized land. Battlefields, mass graves, sites of epidemics, broken places. Think old prisons, unmarked graves, mine shafts, and war zones. I find them in forgotten places, sealed caves, abandoned buildings, places people try to ignore or history tries to erase. And then astrally, floating in the 4D, hiding in grief loops, replaying seasons of pain that they haven't let go. They come to me in my sleep. Well, that's how the railroad workers did it. When I do readings for people and their loved ones come through, even if they're stuck, because spirits pick up on my ability to feel them and know that I can help them. It's like a beacon of light that calls them in. Open for business sign, the spiritual therapist is in. I also find them because I offer my services as a soul check-in so people can check if their loved ones have crossed. And if they have, I give them a mini mediumship message. And if they haven't, I offer Stuck Spirit Release, a service to help them cross. And once I do, again, I provide some messages. So you always get something out of helping these spirits, whether they're family, friends, or even just people you've heard about. Like when my brother told me about the smallpox caves in his state where he knew there were mass graves. Yeah, stuck spirits needing help. I've included the link in the description to those services if you're interested. The what? What do I actually do for stuck spirits to help them cross? Well, I combine all of my skill sets: trauma therapist, medium, Akashic records, light language, energy healing, and of course, I never do this alone. So my connection to my spirit team is another skill that I use. I do everything through the Akashic records, and here's my typical process. I connect in the 4D astral. I ask them what's keeping them stuck. Often they share images with me, the moment they died, or a loop of shame, a place or a person that they don't want to leave. I then do trauma therapy for the spirit. We process guilt, shame, fear, whatever the emotion is, even just the emotion of missing out. I meet them where their feelings are and do therapy no different than I would with somebody in the living. Then I open the crossing path. I open a portal. For me, it shows up as a white light. That's just how my brain processes it. I use light language, prayer, non-judgment, and really just holding unconditional love no matter how bad their human life looks. I can't do this work with judgment. So when they show me their regret because maybe they weren't a good human, I can't judge that. I hold the space with compassion and understanding. I can't let my ego get in the way. Which is why crossing stuck spirits isn't work everyone can do. We're all at different levels of spiritual evolution with our own healing that must happen first. You have to be able to hold the space of unconditional love. Then I escort and integrate. I walk them to the white light portal. I don't shove them through, even when some are much slower than others, and I got shit to do. But I wait patiently. I don't do the work for them. I hold the frequency and I help them integrate back into their soul, which is why I use the Akashic records to call that in. And then I seal the space. So what can you do? If you know a loved one is stuck based on how they died or the signs that I mentioned earlier, there's things you can do yourself. It's all about compassion and love, not fear or judgment. You have to raise the vibration high enough. That's what the white light portal is. It's the highest vibration of love. If weird stuff is happening in your home, especially after a loved one died, they might just be saying, hey, I'm here, or they might be stuck. Either way, you have free will to decide what you're willing to put up with in your space. Speak with confidence, authority, and compassion. You call on your higher power, God, archangels, your spirit allies to assist you, whatever you're comfortable with, in removing any spirit that may need help crossing. Say with love and compassion, you're safe to go. You can cross now. This is my space and I don't allow interference. Then give them a way to contact you. I mean, if there's somebody that has crossed and they're just trying to get your attention by turning on your TV in the middle of the night, not helpful. So tell them, visit me in a dream. Play a song with lyrics of a message. Or you can pull some tarot, oracle cards, or get a reading from a medium. It can be stuck spirits in your space that aren't even related to you, things that happened before you were even in that house hundreds of years ago. You can simply ask your team to remove them, help them cross, or guide them to the right person who can cross them. And then they'll come knocking on my door. It's fine. If you don't feel confident or safe doing this work, I offer my services to cross stuck spirits or do a remote land and space clearing where I can check for stuck spirits and cross them and clear the energy that they've left behind, that echo or spirit fragments that can linger, even if the spirit itself has crossed. That ghost, echo, trauma loop that I mentioned earlier. And most important thing you can do to help stuck spirits cross is don't end up like one in the first place. If you died today, do you have unfinished business? Do you have trauma, emotions of fear, guilt, shame, a lack of forgiveness for yourself or someone else? Those things can keep you stuck in spirit, so don't wait until that happens. Heal your shit now so future you can cross peacefully and move on to the next adventure. Remember, if you need help with that, I'm a spiritual therapist. If you're in my state, I can do spiritual therapy. Otherwise, I can do spiritual coaching and we can work through those things. Or find a healer or therapist you're comfortable with. Either way, do your work now and save yourself hundreds of years of floating aimlessly, reliving your pain. Nobody wants that. The when. When did stuck spirits become more common? Because it doesn't seem like this was always a thing. Well, let's look at history. Fear-based religious dogma taught people they'd be judged harshly. Fear at death equals stuckness. Fear is a very low vibe. The white light portal, the other side, the crossing, is the highest vibration of love. Self-love, self-forgiveness, compassion. So if you're afraid of being judged, you can't even open the portal yourself. The loss of death rituals. In many cultures, family rites help the dead move on. When those rituals disappeared, so did the support. Rituals made death natural and loving, not to be feared and avoided, or just another big business making money and guilting you into expressing your love with the most expensive coffin. Still blows my mind that we even allow that. Forgotten sovereignty at death. People weren't taught their spirits could choose or find their way. Sovereignty is their own ability to open the portal, right? With their own love, their own acceptance, compassion, their desire to be reunited with their loved ones, like all of that vibrational energy. And so they forgot that I need someone to forgive me. I need God to approve of me. I need to be judged as good enough. Like any of those type of things get in the way of that. What's interesting is in very ancient or galactic lifetimes that I look at in the Akashic records, I don't see stuck spirits. I do find soul fragments that are left from trauma. Unfortunately, galactic wars have been going on for eons, and even in ancient civilizations, there were power-hungry people who did bad things, so trauma is universal. On human Earth lifetimes, stuck spirits show up more often because of the strong 3D emotions and those culturative narratives around death. So, trauma is universal, stuck spirits, not so much. How helping stuck spirits helps you. How does crossing stuck spirits help you right now? Well, it clears family patterns. The heaviness that you keep carrying, sometimes it's a stuck ancestor. Free the ancestor and the patterns like silence, shame, or reactivity ease up. It removes hauntings and heavy energy. No more waking up at 3 a.m. to bad vibes or the TV going off. The living space feels lighter. Provides clearer guidance. Cross spirits can support and send clear messages. Stuck ones often replay their pain. Once they cross, they can become loving guides, which is what they really want to do. Heals your past lives. We are often our own ancestors. A stuck past life spirit in your soul line can create blocks in career, relationships, emotions. Cross it. Reclaim that energy. That's yours. Frees up your capacity for life. When your energy isn't anchored into someone else's trauma, you can be more of yourself. You get opportunities, dreams, and emotional bandwidth back. In the Akashic Records, I found a past life self, myself, who died suddenly on her 1-year wedding anniversary. She was furious and heartbroken. Instead of crossing, she stayed in the astral, clinging to grief, anger, unfinished business that she didn't get to have the life she wanted with her husband. Her belief: love equals loss. Love equals suffering. That energy bled into me. After my own heartbreak in this life, I decided, I'll just stay single, have my cats. My past life self's refusal to move on amplified my own avoidance, right? Love equals loss. I'm not doing that. When I finally crossed her, well, first I ugly cried, and then I released that grief, and then something shifted. I started literally dreaming of dancing with a man that I don't know, but he's very attractive. It's nice. I was feeling joy, loved, butterflies. It was my soul reminding me that love is beautiful. It's not just loss or suffering. So crossing her didn't just heal the past. It opened the door for me to hope and to start dating again. And that's how this work changes your life. So the recap: stuck spirits aren't scary villains. They're wounded parts of the soul still carrying fear, shame, or attachment. Helping them cross is an act of compassion for them, for us, and for the collective. If this resonates and you feel patterns or blocks in your life that could be rooted in past life or ancestral energy, I'd love to support you. Check out my Akashic Soul Reading and Healing Bundle. I'll access your records, find the root lifetime that's causing the current problem, heal the soul grid from the energy that's still holding on to the pain or trauma, cross the stuck past life parts, if that's, what's happening, and seal the work with the Akashic Reiki. If your past life self is stuck, I'll cross it and help your current life integrate the lessons without the pain. Check out the link in the description. I've also included the Stuck Spirit Crossing service that I offer if you know someone or are worried about someone being a stuck spirit. And share this with anyone that this can be beneficial to.